Welcome to Damsels in Dialogue, a podcast dedicated to female protagonists in fiction, film, and the stage. Co-hosted by India Marie Paul
and Katie Zetter. As a special treat for our inaugural season, we are hosting a March Madness-style tournament where we place 33 Disney and Pixar animated heroines in a bracket to see who walks away with the crown.
This is it. Today we figure out who will reign victorious in our championship round in our final episode of Season 1. After a tournament full of upsets and heartbreak, we will finally see who is the Queen of Heroines. This is Maiden Madness.
Welcome to the final pairing. Oh, I'm so excited. And I have to say, this Elsa versus Anna thing, I did not expect that at all. To have the sisters matched up against each other like this.
Yeah.
But it is exciting to see. Just to remind everybody, in running for our third place is Anna versus Elsa. And in the final bracket, the final two, we have Belle versus Mulan. Just to recap everybody. But yeah, I did not think. What did you think about the final matchup so far?
When we first started talking about this, because we had done a couple podcasts, so like we had dug into some characters, and I really thought Rapunzel would be in the final, and I thought it would be against Anna. You had some like newer princesses who were pretty heroic and determined and didn't have problematic love interests, that kind of thing. And Anna has made it to third and fourth matchup, but Rapunzel got kicked out really early. So my bracket is so vastly different than what I originally had thought in a wonderful way. It was really great to see Belle come this far. Her and Mulan were both ones I loved growing up, but I actually, once we've dug into them, have a much bigger appreciation for them after this tournament, which has been really fun. And the fact that both of them are non-magical and not royalty, I think it's really, really fascinating.
Oh my gosh, yes. Belle surprised me.
Yeah.
Belle surprised me a lot. And not that I don't love Belle. She's great. I just didn't realize how much she was given in comparison to other princesses. There was definitely people like Rapunzel that I thought would go farther. I am pleasantly surprised with how far Nani went. She's one of my favorites.
Yes.
So I'm so glad she went as far as she did. I laugh every time I think about the three fairies that made it as far as they did.
Oh, yeah.
Well-deserved. Well-deserved, but cracked me up.
Yeah. That was I'm so happy we included them because we can figure out how not to. They were just most of that movie.
Right. So yeah, we will get into more later about our other friends. But without further ado, let's dive in to third place. We have the Frozen sisters going head to head.
Yes. And they've fluctuated a lot for me as we've been going through this. So we're still using the whole bracket. We have some votes from Patreons to add in.
Which were no help. Thank you, guys. Oh my gosh.
The Patreons have again gone split down the middle on this one.
All sides. Everyone got the same amount of points. So thanks, but no thanks. I mean, we'll still add it.
But it does, you know what? Yes, we will still add the points.
Because your points matter, guys.
Your points do matter. And what's so fascinating is it makes me feel like we've at least done a decent job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know when it's that tight.
Because they're tied. So it is really interesting to see where people landed on things. And we took a social media poll for our championship, too, and we'll get there. But Anna and Elsa have fluctuated a lot as we've talked about what courage is. And what I love about what we've been doing with this and with our rubric is that it's forcing us to analyze a children's movie. It's for families, but it forces us to analyze it in a way that is beyond just, is it pretty? Is it good? Is it bad? And it asks a lot of hard questions. Like I've been questioning, like, what is courage? What is to stand up for
fears?
What are flaws?
Fears or flaws. That's what I meant to say. Flaws is a really, really good one.
So it's made me question what those things mean to me and what it means in a story for female protagonists. So it's been really cool to dig into them. That's why these two particularly have fluctuated a lot with me. It's now,
so tough to make them to the first one, especially for these two, because these two I mean, a lot of these characters that we've talked about have other, before we dive into your, your scores.
Yes.
A lot of the characters that we've met and talked about, many of them do have second films, but those second films don't have quite the extensive amount of character growth.
Yes.
That Frozen 2 does. And even the little shorts, Elsa really comes out of her shell in the shorts before we even get the movie. So you watch Kristoff truly fall in love with Anna in the shorts before you get the second movie. So it's, for these two, the hardest part for me was really and truly trying to ask myself, okay, but does this work for the first movie and only the first movie? Like, you can't think about anything else. So that has been especially tricky with these two.
Yeah, anyway. Frozen 2 really changed a lot for both of these as far as growing up and becoming heroes. I really think
both their scores go up a lot in the second one.
Agreed. And Belle and Mulan do have second films-ish, but the scores I don't think would nearly...
Belle's is kind of... It's not like a sequel.
Like
it's almost like a 0.5.
Yeah. And Mulan
like
does have a second one, but I don't think
Mulan
their scores would... Yeah, their scores wouldn't change that much, but Anna and Elsa definitely do. So, for me, let's start with heroic personality scores.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, Anna and heroic personality got a 31. And Elsa got a 27.
I literally have only 2 points higher in both categories.
Oh, nice. So the balance is still there. Okay.
Yeah, the balance is exactly there. 29 for Elsa and 33 for Anna. Because you did 31 and 37, right?
Yeah. Yep. 31, 27.
Exactly 2 points more.
Yep.
So, was there anything that changed for you from the last time we spoke? Because I know we've talked about these two characters a lot.
There wasn't a whole bunch. I think talking through it helped me change some things. I debated back and forth with Anna for useful skills at 1 and 2 a lot. But I do think that the self-sacrificing, I ended up giving her the 5 because of the end.
Yeah.
I think that moment was big enough to give her a 5 there. And at times I'd fluctuated back and forth on the one moment versus how much she kind of puts herself above at different times. So I ended up giving her that 5. Elsa's the one that I think I started much lower when we began this bracket, and through talking with you and our guests, Elsa got up a lot higher. And so her courage is now at a 5, where I gave her a lot of 3s because I was really having trouble deciding, as you've probably heard in past episodes, where she fits as far as what's in her head versus what she's doing.
Right.
So I definitely landed a little bit higher on her throughout all of this. And self-sacrificing, I gave her a 5 too. That was one that had been lower before, because I do agree with some of the past discussions about the fact that she does give up her entire life for others. Whether or not she needed to is beside the fact that she did.
Right. She, it's a lot of talk of, did she make the right choice? But at the same time, she doesn't know. Yeah. She's doing what she thinks is the best just as much as Anna is. So yeah, I would agree. I think my scores went similarly. Anna scored overall much higher when I first tallied it. And that was when I kind of had that conversation of, 5 for courage. And then it was brought to my attention about, but does she ever know what she's actually doing?
Yeah.
Not really. You're right. I went through every interaction, and you, Andy, are so right with her self-sacrificing, because amongst all of the, I'm going to climb this rock and I don't know what that means. I'm going to make my sister kind of angry by just telling her she can just fix it. Because of course she can fix it. Why not? I'm going to run in and yell at a mountain man I've never talked to. None of those things. I'm going to run off without changing my clothes in the middle of, a snowstorm in Arendelle when you have winter clothes. Because you're in Norway. You're not going to take that 5 seconds.
5 seconds, go change.
To change or get an actual winter cloak and not just a little throw. You live in a castle, you have servants. So a lot of those things, she just didn't understand. She just went in blind. But that self-sacrificing moment at the end, I agree with you. I did also give her a 5 for that, because not only does she know that something irreversibly bad is happening to her if she doesn't do something about it.
Yeah.
But she is putting herself in the way of a blade, and she doesn't know she's going to freeze in that position.
Yeah, she's taking it at that point.
She is just willing to take it for Elsa.
Yeah.
And I think that, as far as a sacrificing moment, is very powerful, because there's a lot of things that go into that for her. So yeah, useful skills. We love her.
Yeah.
We stan her. But sorry, baby, you got a 2 from me. And Elsa kind of hovered around the same for me for her personality, because she either scored pretty poorly, which is her character. Like, that doesn't make her bad. That just makes her not a hero, which is fine. She's not a hero in this first movie. Or she scored super, super high. And she only got 1 3. Everything else was like 2s and 1s or 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she definitely was on opposite sides of that scale in this.
Yeah.
And it does make sense. You're right. Anna is the heroine in the movie. And Elsa is the antagonist, not necessarily the villain, because I do think she is a victim. So it makes sense that Anna scores higher in heroic personality. Yeah. But in character development, Elsa actually scored 1 point higher than Anna. So I have Anna at 46 for character development and Elsa at a 47.
Get out of here. I have the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I have the same for them too. Yeah. Elsa, it was interesting to me to fill out that for Elsa was so interesting to me, because Anna, when you look at the face value of the movie, it's Anna climbing up the mountain to get her sister. Like, that is a lot of what happens. That is a lot of the time is devoted to her traveling up the mountain to get Elsa. And despite that, and despite a lot of things happening to Elsa, she still, I agree, like, overall moved the story along. I just was surprised with how high she scored there, because she's not given quite as much, and so much happens to her. Unlike other characters who we've had where things happen to them and they score really, really low. Yeah. I was surprised that Elsa scored higher. She definitely scored higher than I thought she would for things happening to her. Yeah. So Anna, the goals, I actually gave Elsa, a 4 on goals that define the narrative arc, and Anna got a 3, because I think what Elsa wants affects the story far more than what Anna wants, because Anna's trying to fix what Elsa wants, which is to get away and like the consequences. Right. Yeah. They both definitely move the story along, but their goals are so different. They both got a 5 in flaws. Oh, I only gave Anna a 4 in flaws. That's fair. And I gave Elsa a 5. Although the movie is like about her flaws. Well, part of it is. So I think that's why I maybe scored her higher. Yeah. That's fair. I think they both got relevance to today 5s. Elsa got a little bit more of intelligence. Something that I did which really swung them, and I'm interested to see how you did this. Yep. So when we were doing the feminist male characters, I did them in comparison to how they interact with the characters themselves. So our other sister duo, Lilo and Nani, both got the same score because David treats them both the same, and David interacts with both of them enough to qualify for that same. And not just David, but other gentlemen. He's just a prime example. Whereas for Elsa, none of the guys really stand up for her, ever talk to her. So for her, I gave her a 1, but Anna, I gave Anna a 4. Yeah, did you score them differently? I did score them differently. Anna, I gave a 5 for feminist male character. I could see a 4. I could see actually I knocked it down for Hans and the Duke of Weaseltown.
Yes, Weaselton. Yeah. I could see that. I could see her being a 4. And I gave Elsa a 2. I think I tried to justify Olaf as a man. But he's a snowman. But he's not really there, but he is supportive for the 2 seconds he sees her. So I could see knocking both of them down to be a 1 and a 4. But right now they're a 5 and a 2. Right. So, they're vastly different. Another one of the things that was very different for me was change or learn something. We've talked about this a little bit, but I had a 5 for Elsa, change or learn something, and I had a 3 for Anna and change or learn something. Oh, I gave Anna a 2. I think I was harsher. Nice, yeah. I could see her being a 2. Like a 3, I think. I gave her a 5 a little bit. Yeah, for Elsa. I think the movie is about her finding out that all the things that she's learned about fear are not helping her, and she has to change how she approaches life by the end of the movie to save everyone.
Right.
And
more confident in herself. She learns so many things, which is really cool. And I think overall, she might possibly be the person who changes the most of any of the characters we've talked to, potentially.
I could see that.
Because a lot of the characters who've talked about, you know, they learn to have confidence in themselves, or they learn their place in the world, but they don't also learn all these other things that Elsa does. She conquers her power. She relearns how to have friends. She relearns how to have a sister and a family. She relearns how to be a part of a community. Like there's so much that she does that, she definitely earned that 5 for does she learn anything in the story.
What's interesting is they both benefit from a lot of the plus and minuses, like the Bechdel test and the female friendship or sisterhood. They both
get that.
Those. Yeah. So the magic little section doesn't really change that for them. And that means that I have a 77 for Anna and a 74 for Elsa.
79 for Anna. But I bet if we talked, I would talk them down to your scores. I think I was a little nice to them in the heroic personality. And a 76.
That's why I was interested to see what the Patreons did. Because if everyone was like Team Elsa,
it absolutely would have swung it.
But that, I think it's an interesting thing that they both did the +2, which means that Anna has won the bronze tiara.
Ugh. Elsa, we have 4th place. Anna, the bronze tiara.
Yeah.
She is. And you know what?
Yeah.
I feel like Elsa would not want and would not accept a crown in this lineup.
This is fair.
I think she would happily give it to her sister.
This bracket. I don't know how she
not in a
made
bad
it.
way. I just think Elsa as a person is very understanding of like who she is and what she is capable of.
Yeah.
So I feel like, especially by the end of Frozen 2, I think she would have been like, yes.
Yep.
My sister is obviously more heroic than me.
Yes. Yep. She's very self-aware by that time.
Anna would be flushed and me?
Yeah, I'd be upset.
I'm ordinary. No.
Yeah, right. I'd be upset if Elsa won of the pair just because she's written as the antagonist of the movie. It'd be interesting to do the Frozen 2 versions of the bracket.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think
I haven't done that yet.
Definitely put them higher.
Yeah.
Elsa, a lot of her personality would recover because the poor thing's been suppressed for a while.
Yeah, no, she has a couple years to figure her stuff out.
Yeah. So those are our final tallies from all of the votes cast in. Thank you for that. Before we head on to the final 2, we wanted to have a little moment to respect those who've fallen in the Maiden madness.
Yes, who have succumbed to the bracket, but scored very high in their overall scores for us. Katie, who is your first honorable mention?
Someone that I had as being the 3rd highest score for storytelling in my lineup for character development storytelling was Lilo.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Lilo for storytelling.
Yeah.
Had my 3rd highest overall score. She actually beat Anna by a point in storytelling.
That's crazy. Lilo's storytelling is a 47.
Yeah, see?
For me.
See?
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Lilo crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah,
guys, we're all just telling you to watch Lilo and Stitch. It's fine.
Yeah, like just go watch it and listen to the podcast about Nani because she's fantastic. That's amazing.
Nani did really well for me too, overall. Like Nani overall beat Anna, actually. So if she was somewhere else in the lineup, I think she came in 3rd overall.
Nani was a 49 in storytelling for me. Character development storytelling.
I think I was a little harsher. Yeah. Because she was still lower for me than Lilo, but still in the high 40s.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And she overall with the entire rubric was an 83 for me. So she ended up being the 3rd overall score for me.
Yeah, she was third overall for me as well. For you, who was the highest storytelling score other than the final two?
Other than the final two, I think Nani might have been my highest. I think 49 for Nani. And then I had Lilo at a 47. Rapunzel was a 47. Pocahontas got a 45.
Same. Pocahontas would have been tied with Anna for me in the overall bracket if she had made it Pocahontas. Oof. She also scored super high.
Yeah, she ended up with a overall score of 81 for me. So she was definitely in our overall scoring. She was in the top 5.
Really, yeah. Oh, yeah, hands down.
Yeah, her and Rapunzel tied for me for overall scoring at 81. It was hard. Pocahontas ended up next to Mulan in that first.
I know, and that is just tough.
Round, yeah.
For personality.
Yes.
The lady that did really well for personality, outside of our two ladies in the lead, Nani was my highest for personality.
Nice.
So it's just interesting that it keeps going back to, Lilo and Stitch. We love that. Followed closely on the heels by 1 point was Pocahontas.
And Pocahontas has a 34.
Same.
For heroic personality, and Nani had a 34. So they actually tied for me.
Yeah.
On heroic personality. A couple other honorable mentions that I wanted to throw in was Moana ended up with a 75 overall score for me. And Jane ended up with a 74.
Ooh.
She ended up tying with Elsa overall.
Nice.
And had the solid 33 in heroic personality. That we learned.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep.
The solid 33. Not quite as solid as Mulan.
Yeah, Mulan's. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
The
as we
most
last
solid.
week.
But Jane, close second for a solid 33.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
I have to give credit where credit's due for some of these characters that personally, I think it's maybe because I watched Merida when I was older, but I have to give credit where credit's due. Merida's storytelling was still quite high. So even though I may not be a big fan of her personality, Merida, you are a hero.
Yeah, 100%.
You are a hero. Cinderella, I was very impressed with how high she scored for somebody who is not a hero. She still overall didn't do great, but to get mid-60s as someone who is arguably not a hero.
Yeah.
She is a very kind and sweet person that the underdog, and you love that she gets what she gets in the end. Yeah. They did give her quite a bit. That was really nice. Good thinking there. And it does, it kind of foreshadows because she pulled Disney back into the limelight.
She really did.
So
another really high scoring heroic personality for me was Esmeralda, who got a 30.
Esmeralda got a 30 as well. Looking through the three fairies, it just made me giggle that they did so well compared to other movies for their storytelling is what did it. Their personality, not so great, but their storytelling was like mid to high 30s, which is like average, possibly above average for this group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. There's very few who went below 30. And anyone who did was definitely knocked out first round.
Yes. And surprisingly enough, I think Snow White got above. Oh, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. She got a 21. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, I got a 21 for her too.
Snow White. Sorry, Snow White. And that is a big difference between Cinderella and Snow White. You put them together. They are both very innocent, sweet things that you just want to see happy. But they made some very big changes to Cinderella. And it shows because Cinderella scored significantly higher.
Yeah. Someone else we never got to discuss because she was kicked out round 1, Ariel, scored an overall of 75 for me, and 30 of that was heroic personality.
Yeah, her personality, she has a very strong personality and a very bright one, and I think a very relatable one for a lot of people. So I see why she's a fave. So yeah, those are some
of the past
RIPs. And I say one just moment of silence for my disappointed, my characters that I'm disappointed in.
Oh, go.
So one, I'm sorry to knock you when you're down, Merida, but your personality, I just need a little better. Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. You're still a hero. RIP Kita, who wasn't given enough.
Yeah.
To move on.
She did really good.
But really enjoy her. But alas, she could have been a hero. She was built to be a hero. She's such a baddie.
Yeah.
But no, Ellen, it was so nice to revisit you.
Yeah.
However, I guess you shouldn't be on this list because I'm not disappointed in you. I kind of expected you to be this low.
Yeah.
So sorry, Ellen Wee.
Yeah.
Jasmine, I wanted you to do better. I wanted you to be better. And it's not your fault.
No.
I'm so sorry for you. I apologize, Jasmine. They didn't give you anything to work with.
Yeah.
It wasn't your movie, but we wanted it to be.
Yeah, that one was rough because I really loved her growing up, and she is a very strong, powerful, like says what she wants character, and it was Aladdin's movie. It was Aladdin's movie. Yes. She was an afterthought, and they did give her some thought, but
they did. She had a very strong. You knew who she was in those few scenes she had. Yeah. But I'd like to be upset for a minute for The Incredibles and barely passing the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
I have a mother and daughter. I'd like to be upset about that for just
I'm upset about
moment of silence.
Everyone squeaking by the Bechdel test except probably the three fairies and Aurora and Merida.
Cinderella didn't squeak by either.
Oh, that's right. There's a couple of there's a couple old ones that
didn't squeak by at all. They flew by with flying colors, which is interesting that we get less ladies now, but they're better. Like,
that's fascinating. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about that because Cinderella does have her stepsisters, so it's cruelty, but they're at least talking in a group of women. Merida has her mom. The three fairies and Aurora have conversations that have nothing to do with men. And then the more we get into the last few years, the less characters are put in and the less women characters are put in. Something that after our discussion last week, why does no one have friends?
Right? They used to have friends.
But no one has friends anymore. Pocahontas gets a friend.
Pocahontas had a friend, yeah. A lot of them have just like sidekick. But they don't animal sidekicks.
Like some of these people aren't locked in a tower. Like it makes sense that Rapunzel doesn't have friends. But even our finals here, like Desiree brought up the great thing, like Belle isn't socializing. But also, does Mulan not have like we don't get to see if Mulan has any friends?
No. I would argue that Mulan gains friends by the end of it.
She does.
She grows
but you think she'd have like one friends. Girlfriend.
But that's not the point of her movie, though.
Oh, I know. But
and everyone thinks she's weird, so.
It's just interesting that they isolate. A lot of the times they isolate the female protagonist in order to show that she's different. But I'm like, I was a little bit of an oddball, but I found the other oddballs.
Right. So
it's interesting to me that no one gets friends. Does Moana not have a friend on the island? She just leaves without ever having a conversation with a friend of hers?
No, just grandma.
Just grandma? Like she doesn't. I don't.
I don't know.
It started to really bother me the more I thought about the lack of friends that anyone has.
And jumping off of that to finish out our moment of silence is our anger for another lady who has friends, but doesn't really have that friend because they don't actually ever show them interacting more than a few lines. And it's mainly from the opposite end. Tiana, I wanted you to do better. And I'm so mad for you because you were a dedicated queen. Yeah. You are hardworking.
Yes.
It's not your fault, Tiana. You should have been given better.
Nothing to do with anything you wanted.
No, I wanted to see you enjoy your friend's time and not just have her be someone to give you things and help you with things.
Yeah.
I wanted more. You gave us a friendship but not really.
Yeah.
We don't love Lottie. We love Lottie. But I was just thinking about that.
But
where it's like, it was all very, from what we're seeing, it's very implied that they're really good friends. But from what we see, it's very one-sided.
Yeah. There's a lot of assuming we have to do in these movies that I get, but also I want to actually see.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I get it. It's like an hour and a half.
Yes, you can't show everything
for the movie.
But I hope to see more clear-cut Bechdel tests in the future.
Yes.
And some more female friendship.
Were there any moment of silence characters that you would like to have that you wish had done better than how they did before we move on?
I was not surprised by this, but I was very moment of silence sad at how poorly Aurora scores. You mentioned her, and she has
so little.
She just falls asleep.
Little.
She has so much potential. I want the prequel to the movie,
right?
Where we see her and the ants living in the forest. That's what I want.
And who wouldn't want that with those the ants who don't really know what they're doing?
Oh, it'd be like great. So I look forward to that, Disney. Get on it. But yeah, that was my biggest. I wasn't surprised by this either. But if you've listened, you know that Tinkerbell is my favorite, and her solid 50 overall is just sad. She is not a hero, but she is the sassy friend we all want.
Yes.
So my love for her is not faltered, but she was not going anywhere in this bracket. But those are I think you hit a lot of the good, rest in peace, overall big scoring ones that if placed in different points of the bracket would have made it through. But, the bracket is what the bracket is. It's been a really fun tournament to put all of these nostalgic children's movies to the adult test of who are they, what do they do, how well did they do it?
And rewatching them was super fun. It was really, really fun to go through and watch movies. Some of them that I hadn't seen in actual decades.
Yeah.
Like The Black Cauldron.
Mm-hmm. So.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to that mild rant, that mild ramble, that mild throwback.
I want to give them, their due.
Yes.
Through this journey.
And now.
Yes.
To the finals.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm very excited. They didn't move that much from my last discussion.
Same.
I did cave and give Belle the friendship because I've been debating with myself a lot about giving her the female friendship or not.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. So I did give it to her. And the Patreons gave +2s to both, which makes me feel great about them being in the championship.
Yes.
So that's really awesome. And we did some social media polls. And in some of the platforms, they were tied again. But there was enough overall that Mulan gets the +1.
Yes.
From the social media polls. So thank you, everyone who voted.
Yes.
So we got the +2 to Belle and the +3 to Mulan. For heroic personality, where did both of them land?
Belle had a 34 and Mulan... I'm calling it. I think it's Mulan. Mulan got 37. As we learned last time, she is confidently a 37.
Yeah. I had 35 for Belle and a 37 for Mulan. Something I did want to mention, because I looked into both of these movies just to see kind of the females that might be behind them. And we mentioned last week that Belle was written by a female, the screenplay, which is really cool.
Yes.
And it was only one screenplay writer, which is different than a lot of animated have multiples because Mulan had 5 screenplay writers and 2 of them were women.
Heck yes.
So I thought that was really cool. Both were directed by men. We're trying to catch up on that. Belle was in 1991 and Mulan was in 1998. Beauty and the Beast, the original tale, and I won't give the whole thing by any means because that's for another podcast. But I did find it really interesting that the original fairy tale was written by a French woman. So I think it's really cool that you have a woman writing that. And then Mulan is a Chinese legend and epic poems and songs. The Ballad of Mulan is the first record of it. And there's a lot of debate of whether or not she was a real person or not. Both of them had the same supervising animator. Mark Hen did both of them, and he also did Ariel. Mulan is the first Disney princess to not have a kiss in her movie. And
she's one of the only, too.
Yeah, I know. We talked about Kida in the podcast. She doesn't.
Not many. But for Disney princesses.
Oh, yeah. Princesses.
What's interesting, though, and what I like about Mulan's is that by the end of it, there still is kind of that potential love interest. But he doesn't do it. You feel at the end of the movie, love his awkwardness and his willing to kind of see what's next.
Yeah,
and
it's that
you don't need it. You don't need him to kiss her to know that you're like, they're gonna do something. They're gonna get together. That's really cute, and you're still happy for them, but it didn't feel needed, which I liked. I liked. It doesn't always need that.
And he's only known her as a woman for a very short amount of time.
Well, same as all these other people who've kissed each other.
Compared to Belle, who does have more months. of
Belle has months.
Yeah. So she gets to know Beast.
And that's interesting, too, that both of these what I'm saying, both of these top 2 ladies have the most time to get to know their men.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who gets to know their love interests longer.
Nothing pops into my head.
No,
yeah, because they have montages. Jane gets to know Tarzan, but we don't know how long.
You have no idea how long.
Yeah. It could be weeks. It could be a couple months.
Yeah, you have no idea.
It's a lot of very like next day, love at first sight feeling.
Right, right. Nani is another one that you assume he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So there's
history,
that.
Yeah.
Colette, weeks. But
yeah,
not that, Colette gets weeks, so we'll give her that.
And we don't have an exact day for Mulan, but we're kind of led to believe it's at least a couple months.
Yeah.
You can't.
They go through season changes.
Yeah.
Mulan and Belle also are some of the only characters outside of Elsa, but she also has literal snow magic to interact with snow.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Because they are given a long enough story to make it to winter.
Yeah, that's true. So we have Mulan is the first to not get kissed. And then Belle gets a fun fact too in this. The Beast is the first male protagonist to not save his female counterpart near the movie's climax. He does save her from the wolf, but it's not the climactic battle that he's doing it in.
Nope.
So he's the first male protagonist for Disney to not be like heading into the 11 o'clock hour to save the woman. So I think that's really fascinating too, that we also have some interesting love stories in this as well.
Yeah, I really like them both, especially after I felt better after last week when I looked up all of the reasons why it's not Stockholm Syndrome. I feel so much better about it.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, heroic. Unless, are there any more fun facts?
No, those are the fun facts I like to compare.
All right.
They both had really interesting things happen. They were in the 90s, which I also think is really interesting that we covered from 39 where Snow White came out.
Snow White is so old, guys. I did not realize. 41, like every time I'm reminded about how old she is, I'm like, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Movies existed then.
Yeah, we've covered almost, not quite a century, but we've covered,
pretty darn close.
Close to a century's worth of Disney heroines here. And the two in the championship are in the 90s. So that's really fascinating.
Both of these overall, regardless of bracket, scored very high for both of us.
Yeah.
So says a lot to them.
Yeah, the 90s had a good round of female protagonists.
Yeah. I was very excited to see. And that's probably where all these Disney adults have come from.
That's
all
true.
These Disney millennials have come from this strong generation of movies. So heading back to their heroic personality.
Yes.
For me, I'm just looking at, they all got 5s and 4s. I'm just looking at the differences. So for selfless, Mulan did better. And Mulan also did better in the self-sacrificing and useful skills abilities.
Yes. The useful skills is really where the big gap was for me, because Mulan got all 4s and 5s and Belle only got 1 3, and it was useful skills and abilities. And where Mulan got a 5 in it. So that was like a 2-point gap.
Other than that, there was only a couple points. They both, for heroic personality, did really, really well. So how do they match up for the character development storytelling? It
was actually really, really razor thin. So Belle had a 48 for me, and Mulan had a 49.
Ooh, Belle had a 48 for me, and Mulan had a 50.
Oh, nice. The goals that defined the narrative arc were very different for me. So Mulan, I gave a 5, and Belle got a solid 2.
Oh, yeah. I gave her a 3.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Her goal was not to go to a magic castle or to find love. That one was a little hard. I think they both scored. No, Mulan gave a 4 for intelligence, and Belle got a 5. And I think for Mulan, it just isn't shown as much. She's innovative, which is why I gave her a 4 with little brother and things, but she can't remember.
She's like street smart, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But she's not book smart. Belle would have nailed that test at the tea
and not
shop.
Written it on her arm.
Yeah, Belle would have nailed it.
I think they both got 5s in has agency and voice in the story, which I love to see.
Mm-hmm.
After talking with Desiree last week, I did knock Mulan down on Stands Up for Herself to a 3.
Yeah, I knocked her down because I had her at a 5 and I knocked her down to a 4.
And Belle, gave a 5 for that. I did rewatch Mulan after our discussion, and she does give her reasons for why she joined the army to save her dad. So she does. She doesn't just take it, but she doesn't try to argue, which, I mean, in a way is her accepting what she came knowing. Yeah, I had a big debate with myself about that moment after a discussion with Desiree, but I did end up giving her a 3. And Belle ended up with a 5 because she just, is right in Beast's face.
Oh, yeah,
many a time.
Right.
Belle did get a 2 in Exists to be a Love Interest.
Yeah, she got a 3 for me.
Yeah. And Mulan got a 5.
Yeah, Mulan got a 5. I gave her, Belle, I think, just an average because as much as she is the love interest for everybody, she is actively going against it.
That's true.
And
that's very true.
Working against being the love interest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you'll be average for me.
Yes.
But I did change relevance to today after speaking with Kate. I actually knocked Mulan down a point because I do agree with her. Relevance today, how I think Mulan would do great if you picked her up and dropped her into the century. I did knock her down for the situation she's in. Like, and maybe I need to knock Belle down too for this. But her like saving China is like not, I will never be in a position where I'll be able to save an entire
it's
kingdom.
more of like the metaphor of, not the metaphor, it's more of just like the idea of what she does than the literal situation.
Yeah, so like I did give her a 4. She still is phenomenal. And I would, she was one of my faves. Like her and Pocahontas were my faves growing
Yeah. I mean, it made me want to learn some martial arts.
Wanted to be a warrior.
Yeah.
It surprised me that even without female friendship and sisterhood, and without, too many supportive male characters and things, that Mulan still was able to pass Belle some of those bonuses she didn't get. I like to think that Mulan, I don't know how many female friends she gained after the course of her movie.
Yeah.
But I could very much see her 3 guy friends coming to visit her, all awkward, the grandmother thrilled, the dad and mother very overwhelmed. None of them want her. Yeah. They just want to hang out with her.
Yeah. Mulan 2, you like, kind of get to see. Can we have
Mulan come hang out with us?
Yes, exactly.
Like, that's what I imagine happening.
Yes. Mulan 2, you do get to see her meet 3 other princesses and befriend them, and you get to see, it's really about the 3 guys. They have a side plot with her and Shang, but
her and Shang are together.
Yeah.
And
they have a fight, which is the whole thing. Like, they break up and then they get back together, and Mushu's still a jerk. Yeah, that was a little bit of a theme, as well as I was wanting it to.
Oh. But she aged well. I think Mulan herself as a person aged very well.
Yes, I definitely
still very much enjoyed her. I enjoyed Shang. Going to Belle, rewatching Beauty and the Beast, I really loved seeing Beast grow.
Yeah.
And in a very different way. A lot of these other characters, and we've talked about this in previous times, of the princess or the female lead is so wonderful and strong-hearted and amazing that these men change for them.
Yeah.
But rarely do you see the change quite so progressively as Beauty and the Beast, where you see another montage, they get a full song montage that they sing together of them slowly growing, not even to fall in love at that point.
Yeah.
They are just learning to like each other, and they're both growing together. She is learning empathy and learning to care for others and to really put herself out there a little more.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, you see him going from this brash, okay, well, Lumiere is making me do this.
Yeah.
To, okay, he gave her the library, not because anyone told him to, but because he was listening. And I love that for them. It's different. It's still similar to the typical trope, but a little different, and you get to see it better, which is nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the growth of both of the love interests in this, which I think is a direct result of the heroines testing them, which I think is a really great relationship to see. With that, with the Patreon and the poll, it means that Mulan's overall score for me is 86 plus 3. So it's an 89. And then Belle's is an 83, because I did give her the female friendship after discussing, plus 2, so it's an 85.
Yeah, with the 3, Mulan gets 90.
Woo! Someone hit
because
90.
Of the 3. Someone hit 90.
Nice.
And then Belle, let me do math, because like I took away female friendship sisterhood after we talked about it, but now that you put it back in, like I guess I'll put it back in.
But like I was like debating.
Let me
She's
just
81
do
without
some
it.
math.
She's 83 with it. Yeah, I have a hard, like that one was a hard, like how much are they just trying to get something out of her versus like are genuinely trying to help her? And a lot of times she talks to Lumiere and Cogsworth, and Mrs. Potts is only kind of, and the wardrobes only talks about, I had a whole like thing in my brain.
Oh,
about that.
I mean, yeah, understandable. Okay. So Mulan got a 90, and overall, Belle, with her extra 2 points, got an 86.
Nice. So
guys,
that means
stress sweating. I'm so excited.
I love it. That means that Anna wears the bronze tiara.
Yes.
Elsa is 4th place. She gets no tiara.
No, she doesn't want one. She threw it off into the snow. Marshmallow would take it anyway, so it's fine. He already has one. It's fine. that was a horrible It'll go into the unknown. It's whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybe it'll show itself later. I'm done.
That was a horrible pun. I'm like, but you just made it 10 times worse. So
I'm done. I just kept going. I got to stop. Go show yourself, Katie.
Yeah. Belle gets to wear the silver tiara, and Mulan gets the beautiful golden queen crown.
Queen of the Heroines.
And I would love to see how her and Raya stack up. I think it's fascinating that we have 2 wonderful Asian women who
are arguably some of the strongest heroes. Obviously, Mulan is now a hero, but if anybody watches, is crowned. But watching Raya, she is also a hero.
Yeah.
Her story is very heroic.
Yeah.
So, I love that.
I also love, because I was rewatching Mulan, that Mulan beats what's-his-face with the scary black eyes.
Oh, yes, the Mongol.
Yes. Shan Yu.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
He's terrifying.
But what I love is that she beat Shan Yu in a dress.
Yep. Yes, she did.
I love that. She spends most of the movie in pants, which I appreciate because, But I love that she beats him in a dress. And that the fan steals the sword. It's like one of my favorite. It's so
She nails
beautiful.
it.
It's such a good sequence. And like, despite all the historical inaccuracies and the problematic side dragon who's in it for himself, she was a really, as a kid watching it, she was a really powerful hero to have as a role model. And
what
show,
a different kind of role model, like to have someone who was so strong and so clever, because you had the Belles who were very intelligent.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but you had the intelligent, you had the bubbly sweet, you had the kind. At that point, outside of Pocahontas, and I can't remember which one came first.
I think Pocahontas came first.
But even though Pocahontas still had that, she had some courage and everything, but there's nothing quite like going to battle as a woman that makes it, it was very unique of its time. And I love that. It made men question the strengths in women, which was in a great way, because they all, they come to her side. In all of these movies, we have men doing things that are atypical. You have Beast mourning the loss of Belle.
Yeah.
He is sad. You're seeing him. Yes, he's a beast at that time, but he is going through an emotional moment, and he gets that moment of almost tears, distraught, upset, mourning a breakup, essentially. Yeah. Which is not really seen in the others. And then you see Kristoff in later movies. Yeah. Get lost in the woods. Yeah. It's like all of these things in men that you don't see in other films. And I love that these ladies are strong enough and the films were written enough that really showcases that. Yeah. You have two different types of heroes. Yeah. Belle doesn't never pick up a sword. She picks up a stick. She does.
But how much she stands up for herself, I think is really powerful, and sacrifices
Yes.
for her father is really powerful. They both sacrifice for their dad.
Yep.
Just made that connection. So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, checks out because Disney likes to kill off the moms.
It's
so
true. It's very true.
Who needs them?
Yeah. Mulan
Can we just like have a great moment of like just everyone? I don't know what to do. Like, do we stand up? Do we cheer that the reigning champ has parents?
Yes.
Both of them
And his
a
grandma,
grandmother
who survives the movie.
What? Round of applause, Disney.
Yep. And
who knew a solid family unit
yes,
would do so well?
Mulan was only the second princess to have parents alive, by the way. Aurora was the first.
Yep.
And she noted,
and even then the mom like doesn't exist in the second half of the movie.
It took them 40 years to give parents from Aurora to
both
Mulan.
Parents.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. But yeah, Mulan is our champion.
We love that. Yes.
And this actually concludes our first season overall, which has been crazy. We've learned so much in our first 8 episodes.
I know. And before we jump on to a quick reminiscent, I would love to hear on social media who you guys thought. I know we've seen some brackets. I'm sure brackets have changed. Please let us know on the socials who you thought would win.
Yeah.
We have our lineup now of our top 3 ladies, so let us know. But yeah, India, this has been crazy to do our first. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey of our first ever podcast and its first season.
Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the original 8 before Maiden Madness began, there's a lot of insights on origins. And we actually will be doing another season not about Disney.
They're not just heroines Disney.
Yep.
Because, see, we look at heroines in fiction, film, and the stage.
Yes, it is in our first opening intro.
It is. That we rarely get on the first take. But
yes,
our next season, we're doing it in the fall, right?
We're getting ready for spooky season.
Yes, and just in time for spooky season.
Yes.
We're going to do the Ladies of Harry Potter.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm going to get rereading all of those novels, rewatching all those movies, and taking a nice deep dive into their journeys in the Harry Potterverse.
So this will be much like our original season where we will deep dive into the character. Only the difference in the next season, as opposed to this past one, is the last one, for the most part, we only did one character in their film, whereas now this is many characters in the same body of work.
Yes.
I think that'll make things a little interesting and a little different. And I'm very excited.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to cover each season's going to be something a little different. I could see us circling back for the Disney princesses we didn't hit this season. I think Belle's definitely on my list. Mulan's on our list. So we'll have to venture back there eventually, but
some more deep dives.
Yes. But season 2 will be coming out this fall. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you all so much for being on this journey with us.
Yes. And don't forget to check out all of our other stuff because, yes, our official seasons are going to be in the fall and then the beginning of the year. However, we will have, a little surprise fun content here and there. Maybe some bonus podcasts in our long break. And of course, checking out our other socials for different content and some video content and all sorts of fun things while you wait.
Yeah. And we still have our after hours episodes are still coming out on Patreon every month. So that's still going to be going on. Oh,
they're so fun. You got to. Yeah. You got to.
We have some good ones coming up. So check out our Patreon for that. Thank you all for this wonderful Maiden Madness and our crowned queen, Mulan.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you, everyone, for this journey.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for our inaugural season and for our Maiden Madness tournament. Join us this fall for our second season where we cover the women of Harry Potter.
If you enjoyed listening today, we'd love to have you subscribe to this podcast, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and share with friends.
If you really enjoyed our discussion, you can find more behind-the-scenes content, a peek at our research notes, and even entire bonus episodes on Patreon. Each month, we release a full after-hours episode where we discuss the movies we've covered this season, unfiltered and unrestrained, along with behind-the-scenes extras and notes.
You can reach us on social media. Links to all our platforms can be found in our bio and on our website at damselsanddialogue.podbean.com.
Until next time, this has been Damsels in Dialogue.
Have a nice day.
This podcast is sponsored by Royal Princess Parties, LLC, and is produced by Hello Out There Audio, part of Hello Out There Productions.